You see, I always tell people education is a key. You get a key, but this key, you don't know where it will open. So you open this door, it doesn't open. But once you go to the right door and put it, it will open.
Welcome to Body and Soil, coming to you from Uganda. This is where we uncover real solutions in Africa from soil to plate. I'm your host, Ava Maria Schiffer, author, nutritionist, and founder of Body and Soil, sharing with you the voices of the people that are regenerating our land, our food, and our bodies. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the next or second episode of Body and Soil. And today I'm really excited to introduce you to a person that I learned so much from every single day, the amazing Samuel Nyanzi. He is the director and founder of the RUCID Organic College. In this podcast, we're going to be first talking about his childhood. Then we're going to be talking about his opinion on aid, and also his passion for hygienic food processing and what products we're ready hoping to soon bring to the market. So I'm looking forward to guiding you through this podcast and being your host. And yeah, let's get started. I'm super happy to have you here, Samuel Nyanzi, in my kitchen. As Samuel said already, it's used to be a bathroom. And I would like today to introduce you. Who are you? Who is the man that is partnering, the director of RUCID, who's partnering with Body and Soil? Why would you let a Maria Schiffer come to your college and just start building Body and Soil? But I think to understand all of this, we have to go back a little bit to your childhood. I would like people to know, where are you coming from? How did you grow up? And why or how did you get to be so inspired to empower youth, but also to train people?
Yeah, thank you very much, Maria. I'm excited to be one of the first people to really appear on this
Podcast.
podcast.
Have you ever been on a podcast, Samuel?
I think this is the first time I've gone to this podcast, and it's quite exciting. And this brings something new here, so it brings something new and exciting to it.
Yes.
So I think, thank you for the question. My childhood. Yeah, I think this morning I've been talking to even other people about my childhood. Yeah, we're born in a family of six. And luckily enough, myself, I have three boys and three girls. So I was born in a very rural family. Uh, my father, not far from here, was a teacher, a primary teacher, in a place called Chiriocha. Chiriocha is about, I think, 9 kilometers from here. But also, most of the time, I grew up with my mother. My mother was in Muvende. So I don't know. First of all, they stayed together, but after some time, they separated. My mother went back to to her parents, and she went with us. We grew up with our grandparents, the maternal grandparents. The one our mother was always. First of all, she went to Kampala do some bit of work. I don't remember, but I think she was doing some housework. But then our grandparents were very good that they actually nurtured us. They were actually looking after us in the African way. But it was not very easy. We used to do the farm work and we used to go to school, but it was not very easy also because we could go to school one term, another time we could stay at home, and maybe sometimes because we are near the army barracks, we could carry some sweet potatoes on our heads, take it to the market. Sometimes they used to make pancakes, banana pancakes with cassava flour, and go and sell. Then another time, I come back to school, and for sure, I don't even remember how I went through primary 1 to primary 4, because what I can remember was when I was taken to a school whereby the school authorities said, which class should we put this man? They said, okay, maybe P3. I went to a certain P3. I was very big. I was old. They said, no, this man, he cannot sit with the P3 people. He's too old. Let's try to put him in P4. I was too old to be in P4. Let's put him in P5. Then in P5, I was one of the oldest boys there.
Were you like tall?
Yeah, I was tall. Yeah, I was tall.
But how old were you?
Maybe I was about 12, 13. When I came to P5, my height matched almost. So they said, okay. So I had to struggle, but I think this is something which I also believe, that when you are somehow mature, you can understand better. Then after P7, my mother said, I don't have any more money to take you to school. You should go to your father and see if they can support you. Luckily enough, I came here, nearby here, to stay with my father. My father had more wives. And they were all staying in one house. So for us, they rented us a house nearby. So I went to school. I was lucky that my father could manage to pay my school fees. Then after high school, I went for teacher training. That was, as far as my education was concerned, I think it was not a very easy life. And usually when I see people of today trying to say, life is hard, one moment which I want you to, I usually tell many people when I'm talking about my growing, I used to have only one pair of shorts and one shirt. One time, my elder brother was, because he was in senior 1 and I was in P7, and he was studying in Fort Portal in senior 1. One time, when he came back for holiday, I didn't have any pair of shorts. Mine was already torn. So I was putting on his pair of shorts. When it was time for him to go back, so my mother said, now what do we do? Go to the town, to the town, and buy a piece of cloth or something. They can make you a pair of shorts. So I came with in his pair of shorts. Then we went at the tailor's place. So they were sewing. Time came, the bus was approaching. My pair of shorts was not yet ready. So what I had to do, remember, I didn't even have underpants. We didn't have the money to do that. So what I had to do was to remove his pair in town pair of shorts, and I had a long shirt. So just naked and sit on a chair in front of a tailor to wait for my
To wait for your shorts.
yes.
So
And
you go with the shorts.
he took his short. I was there naked, no under, but in town, in mid of the town, tailor. That's why I always appreciate what I have, and that's why um I say I don't envy anybody when he has something or she has something. I say God has made me to be like this from very, very far. Up to that level, I was not putting on shoes, just barefooted. And we had to walk every day. We used to start at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
But by what I see, that hard life shaped me. That's why you can see now I'm hardy. I can work from morning to the evening, and I can do anything. I find that it has actually made me to be what I am. I've been using that period all the time to achieve. Because after my training as a teacher, I went to one secondary school. Then, as I was there was a school which was formed, which was started by a friend of my father nearby. And this friend of my father came to my father and said, "Your son has completed teacher training. We want him to come and help us in our school." So my father called me. You see, those years, a father was the highest authority. If he said, "Please come and do this," no question, he would come. So you could not just, if says this, stop that, you stop it. They had the authority, even when you look to be mature.
So even now, if your father would say something, what would happen?
Yes, even now, if my father was still right, for example, he could just go and say, "Sam, I want you tomorrow. I have to go." So when my father said, "Please come," I had to abandon the other job and I came here. Now this new place was called Kamanje School of Theory and Practice. It means it was the starting of the schools now also do some practical work in agriculture. And that was not common. This school was lucky. They got a volunteer from an organization called VSO. It's a UK-based organization. They brought an instructor for agriculture. When he came as a volunteer, I was working closely with him. When my colleagues would go back home after 4, this volunteer used to be in the garden, and I used to be with him in the garden. Now, he was wondering, what sort of person is this one? Other people have gone. For him, he's with me in the garden. We are working together. We are doing things together. And that's when he asked me, "Mr. Nyanzi, would you like to go and study in Europe?" He said, "Would you like to go and understand and learn about organic farming?" I said, "What is organic farming?" Yeah, that's what I asked him. "What is organic farming?" He said, "Yeah, there is a college in UK. They teach about organic farming. But even me, I don't know it much. But I think this is a very good system of farming. Would you like to go?" I said, "Yes." In 87, that's when this volunteer was here. Then he said, "I'm going to see how we can do this."
And how old were you?
I think I was approaching 30. Yes. So he wrote to Emerson College in the UK. It's in Sussex. "You fill this form. Why this man wants to come and what have you?" We sat together. We filled the form. Then he sent it. It was lucky that when we sent it, they said, he can come. We are giving him partial sponsorship.
A partial sponsorship.
Yes. He said, the rest I will pay.
That's nice.
So that's my journey.
How long were you studying then there in the UK?
3 years.
3 years.
I was asked what would I like to do. I said I want to go back and teach my people about organic farming. Then they said, okay, if you have to do that effectively, you have to go through Kenya Institute of Organic Farming, where they were teaching farmers. They had a very good outreach program for farmer training. So I came to Kenya for another 1 year to actually working with Kenya Institute of Organic Farming. As I was in Kenya, there came a German. This German man was working under an organization called Miserio. We have a project starting in Uganda. we want you to go and help the church to start organic farming. For the first 5 years, I was working with the church. And I would say we are the people who actually introduced organic farming in Uganda, because we worked throughout the country. All the Catholic dioceses in Uganda, we are the people who introduced the organic farming. Not only in Uganda, I went to Tanzania. There was a big project in Tanzania where I did a lot of work. I went to Nigeria. There was also a big project, and I did to establish this. Now, after 5 years, I said, no, I have to go back and do my work. So 1994, we were already coming here half time. So 1995, I left the Archdiocese and started RUCID. It was fully working with RUCID, but already we had registered RUCID in 1994.
And what does the acronym RUCID stand for?
RUCID is Rural Community in Development.
And I was thinking about that the other day. Who came up with that name?
You see, RUCID came as a result of my thesis, my project proposal. You see, when I was at college, each student was supposed to write a project of what they want to do after training. So my project was starting training farmers, and I had to give a name to the organization. And I say RUCID, Rural Community and Development. What does it mean? It means that people in the rural area participating in their own development, not development coming from outside, but rural communities involved participating in their development, because we believed that no development can come from outside. Development must come from within the communities. That's why we said rural community in development, rural community engaged in their development, saying that if you think that people are going to be developed from outside, it will not be sustainable. But if people start thinking, realizing that they need to change their lives, they know what sort of development they want to take. So they say rural community in development, the rural people engaged in their development. And our motto of RUCID is hope for the future. We said the hope for the future generation lies in people realizing that they need to do something so they can change their lives. But also we're saying organic farming is the hope for our country.
Samuel, I'd like to now jump over to 30 years later. You've been 30 years RUCID, right? In those 30 years, you've been giving trainings. You've been having students here at RUCID studying agriculture and agroecology. But what I would really like to know from you is, like, what was the biggest challenge in the last 30 years?
Yeah, I don't want to start with the biggest challenge, but I want to see, when you see activities happening at RUCID, they all have been coming as a result of maybe some challenges. For example, when we started training farmers, we used to go out, give workshops, but also some farmers would come here, get workshops here. We go to them, we train them, for example, in vegetable growing and other things. But then, I think in the first initiative which we had, he said, okay, people should have food, but also income, but also you're doing it in an environmental manner. That's whereby we said, let's use organic manure and what have you. But also we said, let each farmer grow particular crops for the market. And that's why I would say your coming here was very, very important, because you say we must do something which can go to the market.
Yes.
We tried that many years back. We said, let these people grow something for the market. And we identified pineapple growing, because we said, okay, let each household grow 50 plants of pineapples. And because we had many farmers, time came when they had lots of pineapples, 50, 50, 50, you could go into a community and you find if you wait there with a vehicle, there are too many pineapples which they cannot consume. And that one started now trickling into our, you said, how do you make this one become a business? And that's when we started the drying facility here. So you can imagine people getting income, but starting very small. But because there were many, they could have bulk. So they were growing pineapples, they were growing sweet bananas. But something which actually made me go into processing. One time I had a workshop. In this workshop, it was an exhibition. We were lucky that we were sponsored by Miserio, was our funding agency. We went to Germany. Is it what the headquarters of Germany?
In Berlin or where?
Berlin.
Berlin.
We went to Berlin.
Mhm.
We had a very good exhibition. After the exhibition, we decided to visit some friends in Germany, but also in the UK.
Mhm.
When we went to the UK, we found a small farm in Wales. One farm, they were doing wine, they were doing honey, so when I saw these people making wine, I was so touched. I said, can I make wine? From there, when I came back, I started developing the passion for food processing. But I was seeing that we are losing a lot of fresh from the peels. So for me, I said, no, let me do this.
So you took the peels of the pineapple
Yes.
and you started fermenting that.
Yes, fermenting, yeah.
And what were you making out of it?
This pineapple wine.
Pineapple wine.
Yeah.
But I know I have in my kitchen, and you need to bring me this back. I don't have any more. I need your pineapple vinegar, the best in town, the best in maybe in Uganda.
So I think immediately before I even go back, you'll go and bring the
Yes, please, and some Gina paste.
gin paste I have to make. Talking about the gin paste, you see, the way I make my gin paste is very simple. I have two products. One is the gin nuts and the gin oil. So usually what I do, I get two batches. I get one batch, I get the oil. Then I get another batch, I make the peanut. Then when I mix them, so what I'm trying to say, in my gin paste, it's only gin nut, nothing added.
I'm really excited to taste it. Even if we're talking about processing, products not reaching the market, all those things, I'm sure you noticed in these 30 years that the hygienic standards for processing were not there, right? That was another challenge, as well as sometimes there was too many. I know you told me this one time that the farmers were so used to getting freebies, getting free trainings, that they weren't appreciating it. So the free trainings was for me like if I think about it, it could be something that is actually stopping people from being productive because they're not doing what they may be passionate about. And then the hygienic processing, not knowing, having the knowledge is also something that is not helping people reach the market with their products. Am I right?
You see, that's why when these farmers started growing pineapples, we say it would be difficult for each individual farmer to process because they would not attain the required standards in terms of hygiene, but also consistency and others. So I think what you are saying, and really it is a big, big challenge in this country, whereby people cannot reach the market because of the hygienic standards. I'll give you an example. For example, we're talking about peanut paste. Usually, if we are to make very nice peanut paste, even now, we must be able to start growing our own groundnuts and dry them in the right way. Or if not, you don't buy the dried genus. You buy the genus when they are being harvested, so they go through the proper processing. Or otherwise, if they are not dried properly, then they start developing aflatoxin. I found out that we don't have adequate hygienic facilities, but not only for the facility themselves, but the equipment. Because when you look at, for example, most of the equipment we use here, they are not stainless steel, and therefore the iron pieces because they just go on wearing, and when they are wearing, they go into the food.
I mean, we see there's a lot of aid that comes into Africa, right? Aid comes to trainings to the farmers. Aid comes to, I don't know, like let's say also what we're trying to change, the school diet. Organizations are paying for school food, even though it's one-sided diet, and we want to change that. But why aren't people investing more into processing to long-term solutions that can really benefit the farmer? Your personal opinion, why is it? Why do you think?
Yeah, part of what I've been thinking about aid is when you look at actually the money which comes here as aid, much of the funding does not benefit the final, because it's people just continue giving aid because they themselves have created jobs for themselves. I'll give a very simple example. When we went to Germany to visit one of our donors, we found in their office they they had over 300 workers in one office, a donor agency office.
Yeah.
Now you can imagine how much money does it go into the running cost of the organization. And if they stop funding Africa, Asia, and other countries, it means that office is going to close. But my feeling is they keep this aid coming here, but they don't want these people to become self-reliant because they can also maintain their job.
I have also my personal opinion, and I agree with you on that point as well. And the things are changing, but I wanted to also say another thing or ask another thing. I often feel like people from the outside, it's not just I feel, I know this, people from the outside that have not been on the ground working are the ones deciding what projects are going to be happening. Meaning they give out a certain budget saying you need to spend money on, let's say, trainings for 10 women, trainings for 50 men, trainings for 10 children, but they've never been here on the ground. Could this also be a challenge?
Yeah, I think it's a big challenge, but also what you are saying, what is the situation on the ground which you are trying to address? For example, you are trying to address the challenge of poverty, and you are giving a group of farmers training of how to grow ginnas or how to process ginnas. Now, when they grow and process, they don't even have the capacity to grow. They have the knowledge. They have the knowledge, but they don't have the capacity. Very simple. Maybe this lady has too many other activities and may need some small push to be able to weed and do what. But no organization will give this person the funding to weed the genus. If, for example, I would be very happy if they say, okay, you are going to weed the genus, but after weeding, then you give back this to pay back. When you see people who are actually giving money to these young ladies, they are giving them on high interest. So instead of helping the small farmer, they are making a business for themselves. So I think when I see your way of work, I think the body and soul way is really a very good one. For example, you've taught these ladies how to make bags.
Yeah, so basically, I just have to explain that we bought secondhand material and have taken women that only want to, right, including our cleaning help, who had really nothing, and said, let's give them a small training. It was just 5 ladies, right?
I think it reminded me of something. When uh, well, I'll talk about Prose, whom I know. Prose had never touched a sewing machine.
And Prosi is the woman that helps you at processing. She's like your assistant.
Yes. You can imagine today, after those few weeks, she can make good bags. Yes. Which means you have given her the capacity. Now she can start earning.
Yes. Even Jennifer, our cleaning lady, she's been now repairing pants, repairing clothes for all the staff and everybody here at the college. They go to her. Or the people, they see her with a sewing machine, they go to her. She is so excited. You wouldn't believe it.
BODY&SOIL is looking, how can I help this community? How can I help this person to get the skill? But how can this skill be transformed into income?
Exactly.
Those people don't mind about that. They say, you go and train. After training, what comes next? It's just, it's 1 year, the project is over. Whether something has come out or not, the project is over. Please write a report. But also, what I've actually found of recent, when you see the donors, much of the time is spent on reporting.
Yes. And not doing the groundwork, not doing the things, the research and finding the solutions that people actually need, but writing reports instead.
You see the money which is being powered here. If it was done in, I don't know how I could term it, in a way which you can bring, which can create wealth to the communities, Uganda will be up there.
Yes.
But just somebody bring money to train people, not even, I even not, don't call it training, to just inform people. Because many people, they are here, but they are not, they are just maybe informed, maybe they are aware, but after being aware, what do they do with that awareness?
Sometimes I feel, though, that what happens is, so someone comes from the West, let's say, or even if it's an organization, they say, for example, we need to do trainings in, let's say, coffee farming, for example, it's a crop. So first of all, they're creating a sort of a, they want to say, think this crop can create income, but they're creating, first of all, monoculture. And secondly, a lot of times these trainings are very short-sighted, meaning they might give the farmer a training shortly, but then the projects end. What happens is there's no consistency. And when that consistency is gone, people lose trust.
Yeah.
I think that's also one of the issues. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this one I've seen. As I told you, we've been working within communities for those years. And sometimes we even used to give them inputs. We gave out goats, exotic goat, we gave out chicken. But then after 4 or 5 years, you got nothing. Because I don't know, they don't own them.
Because they never had to pay for it? Is it because it's not worth anything? What is it?
I think so. I think we don't give them what they need. For example, when you go to a community, each individual has their own needs. But projects come with uniform needs.
Yes.
So out of the 100 people you are giving, maybe one person is the one who is interested in that. Therefore, this one person might take it further, and then others are not taking it further. Therefore, when you go in the community, you find nothing's happening. But also maybe the capacity. In those communities, I'll give an example of goats. There are some people who have the capacity to keep goats. But there are those ones who, even when you give them a goat, what is this person? They see it as something very small. But also there are others who don't even have the capacity to keep a goat. They need a chicken, but the project is for offering goats. That's why you see, as you've been saying, that if you want to participate in a training, we want to see your interest. Which project do you want to work with? Like what we did in the schools. You are not just forcing. People are coming, they are going where they want to go. And I think this is very key as far as when we talk about sustainability. People say, I want to do processing, they do that. I want to do farming, they do it. I want to do. So I think even the projects, it's very, very important to see where do you want to be, to give options. But when you look at these many different projects, it's already predetermined that this project is going to handle this. And this project is going to handle either women or men or children, not giving opportunities for the different gender to decide where do we want to go. Because even if they bring a project specifically for women, there are women who are not interested in that project. But because for women, they will take it up. If you bring for men, there are men who don't want. But if you give up a chance to choose, so the community will start saying, for me, I want to go there. For me, I want to go there. For me. So when they do that, it becomes sustainable. But also what is, I think, the goal of this project is uplifting people's livelihood. Is there a chance of uplifting the people's livelihood? For example, if we are training people how to make vegetables, is there a possibility of these vegetables reaching the market, start earning? If somebody is able to make the vegetables and somebody is able to buy the vegetables, then another one is able to produce the vegetables. So the value chain approach. These ones are producing, the processors are buying, and then the consumers, all the people in the hotel industry. So it means now, for example, when you're talking about vegetables, we need to look at the growing, we need to look at the processing, we need also to look at the chefs to promote it in different places. So people start making those dishes. Yes. But we have a task of now starting to promote. You can see our paste which we are making here, very, very interesting.
Do you mean the paste?
The paste.
Which one? The green paste?
The green. So we really need to start now promoting. Yes. So that we get many people who actually are demanding.
Exactly. We need to change the demand.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're working towards, changing the demand. But I would like to just explain one more time. So we have these three processing groups, right? We have agriculture, we have we have agriculture, processing, and nutrition and cooking. You're the head of processing. So up until now, you've made with these our clubs, our school clubs, different things. For example, you've taught them how to do dehydrate their foods so that we can actually they have a longer shelf life, but we can also make teas like the ones we're drinking right now. You tell me how many different kinds of, I don't know if you know, like how many different kinds of herbs did you put in that tea that you're sipping right now?
I think looking at the teas which I've been actually making, minimum 7 different types of herbs
in that tea.
In this tea.
Did we also put blackjack in there?
Yeah, there is blackjack.
Blackjack we'll talk about another time, but I just want to say this for anybody listening. Blackjack is a weed, and it's not from Africa, but it grows like wildfire here, right? And it also just happens, it's highly nutritious. It happens to, I don't know if I can say cure, but it definitely takes away the symptoms of stomach ulcers. And stomach ulcers is a problem that so many people in Uganda, I'm sure also in other parts of Africa have. And this is because their diet is often not diverse enough and not full of nutrients enough. So teaching the children how to make these teas to heal themselves, because the children also have these stomach ulcers, right? But also bringing that information back home, which we have already seen is happening, is really powerful. So this is one of the products that you've made.
So I've already made the teas, whereby we have basically blackjack and other aromatic herbs, but also, for example, guava leaves, which actually have a lot of nutrients. So, but also we are making dehydrated vegetables. Also, you find we mix different types of vegetables in the teas, but also in the vegetables. Blackjack will just be in there. As you've said, blackjack is very, very important. But one of the most importance of blackjack, it has the capacity to boost the immunity, and that's why we use it in our teas, but also in our vegetables. So, but also apart from that,
but generally in Uganda you don't. So people don't know these things.
Yeah, you see, people, I don't understand why we are not doing this, because what I know in Uganda, the use of blackjack is when you have a cut on your body and on your finger. People squeeze blackjack and put it there. It will just make the blood to clot. So, but they have not been taking it as a tea, and that's the good thing, that now here Body and Soil together with RUCID, we are trying to promote it
and to bring it to the market.
bring it to the market. And also, I think what we really should do, I was thinking that it would be able to either that we start making tea bags.
Yes, I just ordered some, by the way. They're coming today.
Oh,
Yes.
tea bags.
Yes.
Wow, great. So if we start making tea bags, this is going to be a very, very big market. I had already established a market in Kampala for blackjack, but then when I ran out or short of the bags, I stopped.
But you know what also a problem is, Samuel? One of the reasons why I think sometimes you reach a limit is because you're doing it on your own.
Yeah.
And you know, like, you can't do everything by yourself. You need a team. You need to be, and that's why I remember I want to like kind of end with this, because I would like to hear from you. I remember one Monday, I was a Monday morning, you came to me. We had already been like working here with the clubs for a good 8 months or 6 months. And you were so excited that the children from the school had come on their own free will to work with you in the processing. Tell me, what was that feeling? Because I know you've been wanting so long to work with schools and it hasn't worked. Tell me how that is.
I think this, as I said, I've been telling you, we really need to increase traffic at RUCID, which we're actually doing. Because when those children come here, and for me, if you have a plan, if you have planned it, I would be very much excited to see that when they come, they are given these simple tasks. For example, now, if you have to do the teas, we need to continuously be collecting the herbs.
Yes, it has to be continuous.
But also, for example, now when you look at in our dryer here, there are some herbs we have been there for almost a week. They should not be there for a week.
Yeah.
But because people are not coming, I don't have that team.
Yeah.
So we need a team to be, so that when we put it there, then it is emptied and then put in the bucket.
So we need to maybe in the clubs really determine the teams,
Yeah.
that they know, the children know, okay, it's not just one class that we come once a week, but that we say, for example, you're responsible for this tea.
Yes.
You 4 people are responsible for this tea.
Yeah.
And we are working right now towards a competition at the end of this year. Maybe that is also something to think about in the clubs.
For me, I would not be really doing these things. I would be innovating. I would be maybe guiding. With a team, I said, let's do this. Then let it takes up and then they continue. That continuity is very, very important.
And creating, I think, that structure towards continuity
Yeah.
is part of the job that we have together. We have to figure out how do we create the continuity, because people are so used to people coming in and coming out. I have this thing when I go to schools, everybody says, when are you leaving?
Yeah.
So it's always like the project is beginning, but there's an end. And I want to say that clearly with Body and Soil, as RUCID is an organic college that is not supposed to be established and staying, Body and Soil is something that is not a project, right?
Yes.
We are growing this program to be big so that other people can copy, and that it can last, it can sustain. But for that, it needs time. Figuring out those steps, for example, it's all part of it. We have to find out how does it work best for the people. It's not something that happens overnight like that. And I think that's a lot of times what people want it in from outside. They want it to happen now.
Yeah.
They want the numbers now. And that's what we're letting go of in our approach towards working with the schools and everything.
We need to do a lot of planning, create those teams, and give these teams a responsibility of not saying, and we are coming and we are going. For example, you bring your tea or your vegetables, put them in the dryer, and you wait next Tuesday when you are coming. And when you are coming, it is already over dry.
Yes.
Because it dries within one day, 1.5 days, and should be taken out and stored. And then more should be put in. So it should be something like a daily routine.
Where it's documented.
Yeah.
But all those things have never really been put into place. So I think when we see these challenges, that's when we jump in and say, okay, now we have to change it. And I think that's also the exciting thing about working together and working on something new, that we can develop these things and then we create something that other people can copy.
For me, even when I'm talking to my colleagues, I say that it's a blessing for us to have Maria and BODY&SOIL here. Maybe we have been doing things our own way, but we have been crying, we need money. But I always tell people, there's a lot of money here, a lot of money. There are a lot of resources. As you said now, this one is a very nice tea.
Yes.
The apiary. We have those bees, they are around, they are very good in the farm, but we have the hives and nobody's take care of them.
That is another topic for another time, why these things aren't working or what happened, right? What went wrong, we'll go for another time, definitely. But I'd also like to just close in saying thank you also, Samuel, for having me here at the RUCID, for giving me the chance, for believing in someone that came here and said, I have this idea, you don't know this stranger, and you still open the doors to me. Tell me, why did you do that? Why did you believe that I can do it?
I strongly believe if we have got partners, we can transform this country.
Yes.
We can transform the country. So, and you see, for me, I trust people because I trust myself.
Mm.
I don't start from the negative side. So I believed in you, but also I saw your energy, and I say there is energy here. If we can actually get this energy down at RUCID, there's going to be a very big change. Because of your energy, women are coming, other people are coming. So I can see many other opportunities coming here.
I see it too. It's so amazing. Yeah, like can't wait to, in 1 year we sit down again and discuss how far we've become, right? But I just like to close and say thank you to the listener, and thank you, Samuel, for being here. See you next time. Bye. So I really hope you enjoyed meeting Samuel and getting to know just one of the amazing partners that BODY&SOIL is working with. There are so many amazing people, and I will be introducing you to the others as well. Please feel free to share this podcast. Feel free to like it and subscribe to this channel. That would really help. You can also find us on Instagram, BODY&SOIL.Africa. You can also subscribe to my personal journal that I send out once a month. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day. Bye.